Good morning. We are here for another edition of our Wednesday morning coffee talk. It's your Ignite girls, and we have a guest today.
Special guest.
Yes. So we've got Kendall Keil here with us with Summit Agency. It's an all-state insurance agency located in Northern Colorado. It's actually the largest all-state agency in Northern Colorado. And Kendall has over 15 years of experience in the insurance industry. He's one of our go-tos. We love talking to Kendall, and he finds a lot of solution for our buyers who are looking for insurance. So we thought it would be a great option to bring Kendall in today and ask him some questions, because we frequently, a lot of our customers ask us insurance questions, and
you need an expert.
You do need an expert. And so we brought one in to share with you today. Yeah. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah, well, that's great words of encouragement there. Thank you. I appreciate all of that. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think probably the first question, the most obvious, is as consumers are searching for an insurance agency, what's the most important things that they should look for?
Well, people need to look for a trusted resource that can be their guidance, their insurance doctor per se. Not just having a 1-800 number, to have a quick call. You want to be able to have a relationship with someone, so when you call, they know who you are. They can pull up your policies. If there are questions, concerns, problems, you can go back to that same person. So customer service is a big part of it after the upfront purchase.
And you wouldn't know this until you actually have a claim or need them. You wouldn't know how important that is, right?
You never know until it occurs.
You don't know how important it is to have a good lender until your loan blows up 2 days before closing.
Yeah. Exactly.
That happens.
Yeah. Not with us.
Yes, indeed. So having a good relationship, someone with experience, a good team, just answering their phones, texting, having that proper communication all the way through that with their clients is a really good experience for the customers to have. And you can usually sense that up front, just with their follow-up on quotes, asking the right questions. And when you do call on that first quote, when you're looking to buy a policy, are they getting back to you timely? Do they answer my call every time? Does it take 3 or 4 days to hear back? Start looking for those things up front.
Mm-hmm. And so loyalty, I think, is a big thing right now. I think there's a lot of people that like to hop around, to shop around. We, in our industry, obviously we want to keep a relationship with our past clients. I think you do too, and we encourage annual reviews. So is that something that your customers, you're reaching out to them every year? And
yeah, great question. So we're very hands-on with our clients. We have a whole process built out in our agency for annual reviews. So we're actively reaching out to our clients at renewal every year, our whole book of business. We want to do those. A big part of that too right now is reconstruction costs on home. That's the big key point, especially since the Marshall fires a year and a half ago. So many people were vastly short on coverage and really put in a bad spot now financially. And we're talking 50, 60, 100, $200,000 short on dwelling coverage. So doing those annual reviews and making sure that they have the proper coverage they need, especially with all this inflation, building costs have inflated too. We need to make sure that we can still rebuild that house and home, which is most people's most valuable asset. We want to be able to replace it and give them what they had.
Yeah. And I think you had mentioned earlier before we were filming that there are price incentives or discounts now for people that are with the same companies.
Yeah. All the big carriers, all the major carriers are giving a new customer comes on board, and that new customer gets a little bit better price when they have that 10-year history where it shows, well, they were with State Farm for 5 years, or they were with USAA for 7 years. When customers come to it, and again, not just Allstate, this is all carriers that are doing this, but when that new customer shops, and it shows every 12 months they're with a different carrier and they're just hopping around every year, that customer is actually not getting as good as a price as someone else coming over who's had 5+ years of experience. They could have the same cars, the same claims history, and that person with that prior tenure is going to get a better price. Why? Because the insurance company is looking at that, this is a long-term client. We're going to be more profitable over the long term. They're going to stick. We're going to be able to collect more revenues longer rather than someone hopping around in each year. Because the first year in insurance, they have to pay us agents. They got to generate documents. There's underwriting. The company themselves are not making any money in the first 12 months. So they're really looking at that long-term gain.
All right. Trick question for you.
We love those.
To be our
I was warned.
If you leave your keys in your car and your car running and it gets stolen, does insurance still cover it?
Yes, it can. It also depends on the company and guidelines, but yes,
Okay.
with us, it
You
absolutely
might get a
can.
ticket.
I might have a friend who likes to leave their car running and with keys in it, so I'll let them know.
It always gets
Tell that friend.
investigated. They look at the intent. So if you're like, it's a 2002 Camry and I really need a new car,
Wow.
What
You
if
might
it's
get in
just really
trouble.
hot? You don't want your car to,
like
your ice
today,
cream to melt.
yeah,
That kind of thing.
yeah. So I'll join you for some ice cream. We'll do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so one more question, just in relation to home buyers. A lot of first-time home buyers are concerned about their premiums going up each year, and what could or what should they expect? I mean, I know there's a lot of things that would factor into that, but is there kind of a general rule of thumb of how much of an increase?
Great
they might
question.
expect?
Right up front when they're buying a home, I'd probably say on average, insurance premiums are around 0.5% of the purchase price. Now again, if they're buying acreage or if it's a brand new home or a really old home with no updates, those all factor into that pricing.
Sure.
But average house with a 7-year-old roof on a normal size lot, about 0.5%. So if it's a $600,000 house, $3,000 a year or just under. Again, if it has a newer roof or some updates, might be less than that. As far as future increases, part of that also depends on the inflation and on those reviews, and if we do need to bump up coverage. If coverage is adequate and staying where it needs to be, 4, 5, 6% premium increase is not bad. Like they should be happy with that. Right now, we're seeing a lot of carriers: Liberty Mutual, Safeco, Nationwide, Travelers. 20, 25, 28% rate increase or more. So having 4, 5, 6%, that's really normal. We're actually, the insurance industry is happy to see little rate increases like that. But if you couple 5, 6% with, oh shoot, now you need another 40 or 50,000 in coverage, well now they're looking at 10 or 12% rate increase. But they just need to be prepared for that financially, because spending an extra couple $100 a year is much better than having that large claim and being short $40,000 or $50,000.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, you got to put it in perspective, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you so much
thank
for
you.
joining
Yeah,
us today.
thanks for
Really
having me.
appreciate it. We're going to include some information on how you can reach Kendall. But yeah, thank you for joining us, and
See you next
We'll
time.
see you next time.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.